Hi everybody, it's Webby and welcome back to another video. Today we are filming one of the most exciting cars coming out in 2022, certainly if you're a Ford fan, the brand new Ford Ranger. This video is concentrating on the sport model, and in this car we've actually got the 3-litre V6 turbo diesel. It's also available with the 2-litre twin turbo diesel as well, but all the features will be the same apart from the odd couple of bits here and there which I'll point out to you. So we're going to have a look around the car on the inside and the outside, take you for a little short drive. This car isn't actually registered, but it is going to be a demonstrator at my work. So I'll be able to take it just for a quick trip around the block on a trade plate, just so we can see what it's like. I'll probably then do a full drive review video. Then I'll be able to test out things like all the different drive modes, and obviously see what it's like on different types of roads, country roads, freeways, that type of thing, to get a proper feel for how it drives. So let's get started looking at the outside of the car first, because this is a completely new design, looks fantastic, and yeah, I absolutely love it. So hopefully you guys do too. So starting at the front of the car, because this is where some of the biggest changes have taken place. The front now looks like an F-150. It's got that very sort of square design, but the previous model Ranger was sort of quite rounded at the front. So it's a very, very different shape and a very different look to the new model. As I said, this is a sport model. So the front styling is very different in terms of its colour schemes to some of the other models. We've got these grey sections here with a satin silver down the bottom. The standard bar going across the middle with the Ford badge. This car has got the optional touring pack. So the touring pack gives you factory electric brakes, 360-degree cameras, and also the exterior zone lighting. So at the front, under the Ford badge, we get the additional camera, which is part of the 360 cameras. Standard also on the Sport, we've got these C-clamp LED daytime running lamps with the LED headlights, fog lights down there at the bottom. Under the bonnet of this car, we've got the 3-litre V6 turbo diesel. We'll have a look at that in a minute as well. So the other option is the 2-litre bi-turbo, which carries over from the old model. I'm really excited to actually take this out on the road, because I've heard it start, I've heard it run. I've driven it literally from around the front of the dealership to the back when I'm filming today. It's so smooth, it's so quiet. I can only imagine how good it's going to be when I actually get it out on the road. Really looking forward to this part of the review. So this is the 3-litre V6 turbo diesel engine. As you can see, it fills the engine bay really well. There's still a few gaps around it, because remember, this engine bay will also accommodate the 3-litre V6 twin turbo petrol that goes in the Raptor. That's another exciting video that's coming later this year when the cars turn up. Also, for the first time in a Ranger, there's a little gap here where you can actually fit a dual battery. A lot of people, obviously, who do off-roading, that type of thing, will fit a dual battery to their car. So Ford have actually made a place under the bonnet, so you can actually install a dual battery on your car, which is a really good idea. I've actually found one thing I don't like at the minute, and that's the fact there's no gas struts on the bonnet, because the bonnet's actually quite heavy. And just got this little strut here to sort of keep it up. But yeah, that's decent weight in that. But that's a minor gripe. I'm sure there'll be an aftermarket company somewhere that will make the little gas strut so your bonnet goes up easy without you having to fiddle about with that strut under the bonnet. Now, coming around to the side of the Ranger Sport, we've got unique 18-inch machined alloy wheels. These look really, really smart, wrapped in Goodyear tyres. Black plastic wheel arches, which is standard on every single trim level on the new Ranger. We've got the side steps, which are actually standard from XLS models and above. We've got the grey door mirror caps and grey door handles. It's the same colour that Ford used to put on the last generation Wildtrak, so it stands out a little bit from the other models in the range. Something to note also, in terms of the different models in the new Ranger lineup, the Sport is actually a new model. On the previous Ranger, the Sport was a special edition based on the XLS. And then we also had the FX4, if you remember, which slotted in between the XLT and the Wildtrak. So the new Sport slots between the XLT and the Wildtrak, but is a permanent model in the range. It's not just a special edition that will come and go from time to time. So it's good to see there's something in between XLT and Wildtrak now. We also got privacy glass on the rear side windows and the back window as standard as well. And then we've also got this extended sports bar in matte black, which is a really cool finish. This is the rear step that everyone's been talking about. It makes it so easy to get in your tub, and particularly if you put a canopy on the car, it's going to make it really easy to get on the top if you've got like some crossbars or like a rack on top of your canopy as well. So yeah, really, really simple. And yeah, it just makes it nice and easy to get in and out the tub. Then coming around to the back of the car, we've got these new design rear tail lights and blind spot monitor built into this section here. The blind spot monitor is actually standard on every single trim level, even the base XL. A neat feature with that is if you have the factory fitted tow bar, you can actually put the measurements of whatever you're towing into the Sync 4 infotainment screen, so then the blind spot monitor will compensate its distance for whatever you're towing, which I think is a really, really neat feature. The tailgate also locks when you lock your vehicle as well, which is a nice feature to have. And when we open it up, we've got a standard tub liner. You can also get an optional spray-in tub liner as well, which is slightly more grippy. But this new one has been slightly redesigned for this year in the fact that these sections here are much wider. So when you're in your tub and you're kneeling down, it's much more comfortable than the old model where the ridges were much narrower and it used to actually kill your knees when you were crawling around in your tub. Over to the left here, we've got a 12-volt power socket like we used to get in the previous model Ranger, and you've got this tension bar here as well, which takes the weight out of the tailgate because yeah, they're really heavy if you haven't got that bar in the center there. So the tow bar is actually standard on XLT models and above, so this is above the XLT, so it gets the standard sports bar as well. The model designation is always on the right hand side. I quite like this sport badge, it's sort of quite bold. Forward badge in the middle there, you've obviously got the rear camera built into that. It actually looks bigger than the old one. I'd have to put them side by side or measure it, but the forward badge looks a little bit bigger than the previous model Ranger. And then the forward drive badge over there just to the side, because you can get some models as a 4x2 option. So that's the features on the outside of the car. We're going to jump inside next and have a look at the new interior. Before we get to that though, if you are enjoying this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Also subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell, because there's going to be plenty more content coming with the new Ranger over the coming months, so you don't want to miss that. So make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell. Right, let's get on the inside and have a look at the new interior. Right, so let's have a look inside then. I'll start on the driver's door. There's a couple of bits here I want to show you. You got your standard window switches here and then your mirror switches. There's also a button to fold them in electrically, but you can also program that to fold when you lock the car as well. We've also got these new style door handles. So instead of the door handle being up here by the lock switch, they're actually down here, sort of in the grab handle. So what you do is you actually squeeze it and then you push the door to open the door. Sounds a bit strange, but actually in practice works really, really well. Then let's have a look at all the seating. So full leather, because this is the sport model. This sport logo embossed into the back of the seat. Driver's seat is electrically operated, which is nice to see. We've got the leather wrapped steering wheel. The push button start is around to the right hand side of the steering column now, as opposed to the left, which we had on the old model. We've then got a few buttons down there, so you've got all your headlights, adjustment for the brightness of the dashboard lights, and adjustment for the beam of the headlamps. That's your rear fog light, and then that's your button there to do your lights in your tub. So we bring this V6 diesel to life. You can see the digital instrument cluster there in front of the driver. Let me just get rid of that button there, and there you go. So it's really nice and clear. There's loads of information on there. So you've got trip computer over the right hand side at the minute. In the center you've got digital speedo, and then it shows that your lane keeping aid is working as well. The very top right hand corner, you can see that 4A. So that's your different driving modes with your four-wheel drive system. So you can have your standard 2 high, 4 high, 4 low, but then also 4 automatic, so the car decides when it goes into a 4-wheel drive or 2-wheel drive. So that's a pretty neat trick. On the very right hand side you've got digital fuel gauge, and then on the left hand side your temperature gauge. So it's nice and easy to use. Now to operate that screen, we've got the buttons here on the right hand side of the steering wheel. That button there will take you into your menus, so you literally press that, takes you into your different menus, and then you can use the up and down arrows here to actually cycle through what you want to sort of look at or change preferences of. Over on the right hand side we've got some of the safety features, so the adaptive cruise control, your volume there obviously for your radio. So it's all fairly standard stuff. The wipers are just there on the left hand side, including automatic wipers. Indicators and high beam headlamps are over there. So normal stuff. Now this car has got the factory fitted touring pack. So just there you can see that's the switches for the integrated electric brake controller. So that's nice and neat and hidden away. We've then got the 10.1 inch Sync 4 infotainment system. So being the Sport, this has got built-in satellite navigation, wireless Apple CarPlay, wireless Android Auto. Your audio section is at the top there. We've then got some shortcut buttons just here. And then you've got your climate control buttons there. We've still got some physical buttons down the bottom. So you've got your temperature controls for your driver and your passenger side. That button there turns your air conditioning on and off. In the middle you've got volume and on and off for your radio. Fan speed for your air conditioning. Fast dimmers for your front windscreen and fast air conditioning for the summer. Recirculation and hazard warning lights. So it's nice to see a mixture of sort of touchscreen and also physical buttons. Now I'm going to do a separate video for the Sync 4 system because there's a lot of stuff to go through on there, far too much for this video. So I'll make a generic video because that's going to cover all the different models. So it doesn't matter whether you've got an XL or whether you've got Sport, it's going to cover everything you need to know in that separate video of the Sync 4 system. So keep an eye out for that one. If you're subscribed to the channel, you'll find out exactly when that goes live. Now coming down, just underneath there, this is the Sport model. So the Sport model and above get the wireless charging mat, which is just to the left here. We've also got a USB-A and a USB-C fast charging points, so you can charge more than one phone at a time. So we've then got the electronic gear shifter. You've got your normal modes on top of there. It obviously highlights what we're in at the moment. We're in park. Just to the right of that, or down to the side, you can see the plus and the minus buttons to change gears manually, and also the manual mode button as well. Now it's actually really simple to use. So once you've got your foot in the brake, there's a button at the front of this, and you just press it and you pull back, and then the car goes into reverse, and then you don't have to press the button anymore. You can just flick back into neutral or drive. So it's actually really easy to use. And I've actually found a really neat trick. If you're in drive and you turn the engine off, check this out. It actually puts yourself into park and you don't have to do anything. So if you're getting out of the car and you forget to put it in park, the car will take care of everything for you. So your car doesn't go driving off down the road and you're trying to walk off somewhere. Alright, anyway, below that we've got the electronic parking brake. We've then got the parking sensor button, so you can turn off your sensors, you can turn off your traction control. Being the V6, we get the stop-start system, and then this is your different terrain modes that you can sort of change when you're driving along. So if you're mud or grass or sand or whatever, you can change that there. We've then got the drive modes and also the buttons that I mentioned a minute ago for your four-wheel drive system. So to change the drive mode, you actually twist it right or left, and then when you twist that, I'll just show you up here on the instrument cluster. Let me just get rid of that. So I'm going to twist the drive mode button. If we twist it to the right, so it shows we're in normal. If we twist left, we've got economy, tow and haul, which is a specific mode for when you're actually towing something. It's a really handy feature to have. That I'll be going through a little bit more when I do the full drive review video. If we go through again from there, we've then got slippery. So if you're going on some slippery surfaces, again it will adjust things like the traction control and the throttle input to make progress a bit better on slippery surfaces. Mud and ruts, again self-explanatory, and then we've got sand as well. So there's a lot of different drive modes here in this Sport model, so whatever terrain you're on, you're not really going to get stuck, or if you do, well, probably shouldn't have gone down that road in the first place. We can then flick all the way back up to our normal mode there as well. So pretty neat little feature to have. Like I say, you can see the four-wheel drive system changes itself between the different modes. It's actually really clever and intelligent. So then behind all of those buttons and gear sticks and everything, we've got the armrest. We can lift that up. We've got a bit more storage in there. And then we've got another 12-volt socket if charging up phones and bits and pieces. Looking around the actual cabin, it looks really nice in here, much more upmarket. All the materials feel a lot nicer than the previous model. They're still sort of plasticky, but they look a lot nicer than before. You've got this little shelf here as well, which has got a rubber sort of textured surface. You can put phones and bits and pieces on there. Pretty decent sized glove box. But you'll notice that the actual dash is a lot more vertical than the previous model, and it's not as deep as well, so it sits further back from the driver and front passenger. So it actually gives you the sensation there's a bit more space inside the cabin. Now in terms of seating, these front seats are really comfortable. The leather is a little bit softer than the previous generation Ranger, and the actual driving position is absolutely spot on as well. It's further enhanced by the fact that the steering wheel is now adjustable for height and reach. With the previous model, you could only adjust your steering wheel up and down. So there's a lever just found here. We can go up and down, we can go in and out. Oh, how good is that? That is absolutely spot on. So yeah, driving position is absolutely superb. I'm going to have a look in the back now because I want to see how much space we've got left. Now this driving position is where I would have it for me driving the car. Right, coming into the back of this new Ranger, I've got absolutely acres of space. Nice to have the grab handle here as well for getting in and out, particularly good for short people like me or kids. But yeah, look how much space I've got, absolutely acres. So the driving seat is in my position. If you've got someone who's sort of 6 foot maybe, and the chair's maybe back here, you're still going to be able to move your legs and feet around. You're still going to have plenty of space. And you can actually get your feet under the driver's seat as well, which is really important for a long journey. You can stretch your legs out, and yeah, stops you getting tired and grumpy. We've also got air vents in the back for the first time as well, which is fantastic. And we've also got a 12-volt power socket down there as well. So you can get one of those adapters and then plug in to charge phones and iPads and stuff. So really, really good. You got little pockets on the back of the seats as well, which is quite handy. Plenty of headspace as well. Again, I'm not overly tall, but yeah, even if you're sort of approaching 6 foot or thereabouts, you're going to have plenty of headroom. So that's a really nice place to be back here. So we also get the obligatory fold down armrest with a couple of cup holders as well, which is nice to see. On the outer 2 seats, you also got the ISOFIX child point fixings, so you can put your baby seats in the back as well. So yeah, generally it's actually a really nice place to be back here. Quite often you don't get much room in the back of a dual cab, but actually yeah, it's really nice. You've got decent sized side windows, you've got quite a good view out the front as well, so it doesn't feel claustrophobic. Having this lighter headlining, that helps too. It's just such a nice place in here. You can see why more and more people buy these as a family car. It can be a work vehicle during the week, and then at the weekend you can go out, tow your boat, your caravan, whatever. But it's still comfortable as well. It doesn't feel like an old school ute that's really clattery and uncomfortable and just like a workhorse. It's a proper family car as well. So it's no surprise why a lot of people buy these as a family car nowadays. As I mentioned earlier, this is the V6 turbo diesel model. I'm just going to switch the engine on so you can hear how smooth and quiet it is, and compared to some of the other engines out there on the market in dual cab utes. So yeah, have a listen to this. Pretty quiet, isn't it? While the engine's running, might as well take it for a drive. Now in terms of safety, as you can imagine, the new Ranger is fully covered. You've got things like autonomous braking, lane keeping aid, lane departure warning. You've also got blind spot monitor standard on every single model, and also adaptive cruise control is standard as well. When you get to things like sensors and stuff, the base model comes with rear sensors, rear camera. XLS models and above then pick up front parking sensors as well. So then this model here with the touring pack, you've got the 360 cameras. So there's absolutely everything you could possibly want in terms of safety. Now in terms of pricing for this sport model, it's available with 2 engines as I mentioned earlier. The 2 litre bi-turbo is $63,690 plus on road costs, and this 3 litre V6 turbo diesel is $66,690 plus on road costs. This white is obviously a no-cost option. The touring pack is a $900 option on the sport. So that gives you the factory fitted electric brake controller, 360-degree cameras, and also the exterior zone lighting. It's a pack I think that pretty much everybody should have, because I think it'd be great for resale, but also the features on the car will be really practical while you're actually owning the vehicle. So yeah, that's in terms of pricing. Warranty is 5 years unlimited mileage like we had on the previous model and all other Ford vehicles. Cap price servicing is $329 per service for the first 4 services, which is every 12 months or 15,000 kilometers. And you also get your roadside assistance as well. Free loan cars, etc. Pretty much what Ford does for all their cars. So in terms of value, I think it's really good. Yes, it's not cheap, but everything's getting expensive these days. You know, you go and buy a little Toyota Yaris and the 28 grand starting price. You know, cars are going crazy in terms of pricing now, but you do get a lot for your money on this sport. You know, the leather trim, the 18-inch wheels, all the safety equipment that you'd ever want, the nice big Sync 4 infotainment screen, the digital instrument cluster in front of the driver. There's so much to like about this car, and that V6 engine is absolutely superb. Alright, so now we've jumped inside this Ranger Sport V6. I want to take it for a drive, see what it's like, and feel the power from that V6 engine. It's a bit sunny, so I've got to put my shades on. So let's go and see what she's all about. First thing you notice is how quiet and smooth it is, and the power is just absolutely effortless. Yeah, it doesn't feel like you're in a dual cab ute. It just feels like you're in a car with a V6 diesel engine. It's very smooth and comfortable. The ride feels a lot more planted straight away. Having that suspension on the outside of the leaf springs now gives it a much wider track, a bit more stability. And just much nicer to drive, much more comfortable as well. Yeah, that gets up and goes pretty good. And the gear changes are seamless as well. You can almost not feel the change gear. Oh, it's so smooth and quiet. You got to be careful. You got to look down at your speedo just to make sure you don't go over the limit. Yeah, you don't get a sensation of speed because there's no road noise coming through to the cabin. Visibility is really good as well, actually. The side mirrors are really decent size, so you can see stuff behind you, and you've got the blind spot monitor as well, so that really helps. The digital instrument cluster in front of the driver is nice and clear as well. There's not lots of information that's too confusing, so you're not sort of having to take your eyes off the road for too long to actually see what your speed is or anything like that. It's actually quite easy to read. The steering is nicely weighted when you get to freeway speeds as well. There's a good amount of feel, so you're not just suddenly changing lanes at the slightest movement on the steering wheel. It feels nice and weighted and sort of heavy, if you like. I love how comfortable these seats are as well. They're fantastic. So if you've ordered a new Ranger and you've chosen the V6 engine, you're going to love your new car. It is absolutely amazing. So that brings us to an end to this video for the new Ranger Sport. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, give it a like. If you've got any questions or comments, please leave them in the comment section below for me. I'll answer all your questions as soon as possible. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Also hit the notification bell, because there will be plenty more content coming with this new Ranger model, including that video I mentioned about the new Sync 4 system. I'm going to show you how to use the Sync 4 system, the Apple CarPlay, the Android Auto, how to use your Ford Pass, set up the zone lighting as well. There's so much more technology on this new car we need to go through. I just couldn't cover it all in this one video. So look out for that one coming soon. Thank you very much for joining me today. I hope you've enjoyed the video, and I look forward to seeing you all in the next one.